Now, I really don't like having conversations about this because it has nothing to do with football. It strictly has to deal with the fact of the business side. But when you're a Cowboys fan and you got to deal with the anxiety there is with how the players perform on the football field, and you hope to God you can win games, you also got to deal with the business side and the anxiety of Jerry Jones and his family doing some stupid shit to where now we're in a situation where you're putting a target on your back. Now you might be asking, well, what are you talking about? And as you see by the title of the video, look, Jerry got into it with Robert Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots, over the vote that they did to redo Goodell's contract. And so by a vote of 31-1, Jerry being the only person dissenting, he basically went up and he told Kraft, hey, don't F with me. Kraft was like, what? And Jerry's like, listen, just don't mess with me. Like, it's stuff like this where, you know, you look at how the Cowboys are treated in terms of suspensions, penalties, and stuff like that. And what I mean by penalties, I'm not referring to on the field, because, I mean, you can argue that that's the case, but I don't think so. And then you look at how other teams are treated, there's a clear something's wrong there, right? It feels like there's a double standard there. Now, a good example of this was back in 2017 when Jerry was, you know, trying to oust Goodell, basically. And, Goodell, it felt like they just, out of spite, what they did was they suspended Zeke for 6 games, even though that situation was a whole thing in and of itself, where it felt like that, you know, you're just suspending a guy off of hearsay and lies after investigations prove that, but that's not what we're here for. But again, like, it's stuff like this that I don't like, because anybody that follows football that deeply, you would be aware that Jerry Jones is basically the shadow commissioner of the NFL. He is the reason why Dan Snyder is still an owner. He's the reason why the Rams are in LA and have that nice fancy new stadium. There's a reason. He's the reason why the Raiders are in Las Vegas and have the nice fancy new stadium there. There's a reason why the NFL hasn't put another team in Texas. He has a lot of pull. And, you know, it's something that many people don't talk about. But what it kind of seems like that I personally think is the case is that Rodger Goodell is the guy that's kind of standing in Jerry's way to having full control over the NFL, because, you know, when you look at what Jerry has done behind the scenes, he's definitely pulling strings. You know, them calling him the Shadow Commissioner, like I just said. Some people, if you're a fan of Star Wars, calling him the Palpatine of the NFL because of how he's pulling the strings behind the scenes and orchestrating things. But I personally think that there's an ulterior motive here, and I think the reason why Jerry doesn't like Goodell is I think Goodell, like I said, is the last guy standing in his way from having real, like, full control. I think he wants to have someone that can kind of kowtow to him a bit more, because Goodell doesn't really. And I'm not a fan of Goodell. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, push Jerry's ambition there, if that's the case, because I think that's stupid. Because if you're thinking you're going to put more effort into that than building your own football team up, I don't like that. But the reason I don't like Goodell is, like, I feel like he isn't really doing much to progress the game in a way that I would like. And what I mean by that is, you know, he's one to mention player safety, and really, if player safety was a thing, rather than using roughing the passer calls to protect quarterbacks from concussions and stuff like that, or, you know, whatever penalties in place, call more. Rather, why don't you actually have a program that helps people there than just, you know, closing your eyes and be like, oh, I don't see anything, because that's stupid. I really think that's one of my biggest grudges with the NFL and Goodell, is that they take a stance on player safety when there is no indication that they are trying to protect their players. Now, all things being said, I understand that, you know, it is a business. They're trying to make money. They're trying to defend their reputation, but it's not like there's evidence like that's like, oh, well, you know, maybe it's, you just saw what happened with Tua Tagovailoa. Like, are you kidding me? And then you have all these other instances, and now you're taking this stuff seriously because people kept calling you out about it. And so, I don't know, man. It's just, I think that with Jerry and what he's trying to do, I absolutely, in my heart of heart, think he's trying to put someone in place as a puppet to basically be the figurehead as he really rules the NFL. Now, I might be just talking out of my ass, possibly. But like, I just feel like that's what's going on with Jerry. I don't know what you guys feel about it. By all means, you can comment down below on how you feel about the situation. But yeah, I really think that Jerry is trying to, like, he's really trying to pull some strings because I think he really wants that full control. I mean, he has a lot of pull, but I think he wants to go even further before he goes, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think if he had one chance to do it, it was back in 2017, but even then, I don't think Rodger Goodell is going anywhere. The league is making more money than it has ever before, and that's all the owners care about. As long as the status quo is good and as long as Rodger isn't doing some stupid shit, they're going to keep him as commissioner for as long as they can. But fuck Rodger Goodell, most importantly. But Jerry, this is not a fight you want to pick. Please just stop that. You're putting a target on your team's back. So when it comes to player discipline, they're going to keep going at you, and penalties possibly. Just stop it, please. That's all I got to say there. I mean, what do you guys feel about the situation? Because I really think that's really what's going on here. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.